Hello and welcome back to Loftside Banter. And on today's show, we have the brand new head coach of the Massachusetts Pirates, part of our weekly Massachusetts Pirates interviews, Tom Menas. It was great to have the opportunity to sit down with him, talk about what his expectations are for this team, and what it's like to step in mid-season and how he treats professional football players. After the interview, we go over a few other news items that are coming up, some more possible interviews next week, including a content creator that talks all about the Boston Red Sox and the Boston Bruins. We'll look at the struggles that the Red Sox have been going through at the early part of the season. And then we look at some of the biggest what-ifs in sports history. We'll go over some of them, and we'll kind of see if we think anything would have changed in history if those what-ifs had been the opposite of what had actually happened. Let's go ahead and get that countdown going and kick it over to the show.
We are on in 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
And welcome back into Loftside Banter. As mentioned in the opening, we will be having our weekly conversation with the Massachusetts Pirates and new head coach Tom Menas. We have a little impromptu get-together with Sir Daniel and Chad and myself to go over a few little subjects such as some of the bigger what-ifs in sports history. We debate on who would do better in 5 events of the NFL Combine. We look at the Bill Belichick and Jordan madness that's been going on over the last couple of weeks. We'll talk about a little bit of that NBA madness that we went through the last show with just myself. I'll talk to them about that. And then we talk to Sir Daniel about the Bruins dropping in the NHL draft. We're going to start off by kicking it right over to the interview we have scheduled for this week. Today's guest is a back-to-back champion of the National Arena League in 2021 and 2022. He was the head coach of the San Diego Gunslingers. He is a former NFL player for the Detroit Lions and a proven winner in every stop that he's made, both collegiately and in the indoor football leagues. New Massachusetts Pirates head coach Tom Menas. Coach, welcome to Lowell in Massachusetts. What excites you about joining the Massachusetts Pirates organization?
Oh, well, that's a broad question. A lot of things. First and foremost, I would have to say my relationship with Hassan and Jawad and getting the opportunity to finally work together. Respected them from afar for several years. Built a kind of a respectful friendship as opponents. And looking forward to that opportunity. The other is this roster. We have an incredible roster of great talent, and any coach would feel blessed that they had it. So I'm looking forward to that opportunity. And then, of course, my family, my wife and I, we really enjoy the Boston area and have made it a place to come and socialize in the past, and now looking forward to being a part of the community.
Perfect. So you've had limited time with the team since joining. What's your first kind of priority since taking over?
Yeah, I think this is my 3rd day. I think the biggest thing is trying to build continuity quickly, trying to build the chemistry quickly with the players, get them to understand who I am and how I coach. They're probably not used to someone like me in general. And once they get that and they're comfortable and they know that I'm not here to be adversarial, I'm here to be part of this. I think that we're building that every day. They've been great in welcoming me. The staff has been great in welcoming me. The number one priority, I guess, is just making sure that we have some type of continuity as quickly as possible, not only in football, but just the emotional side of a team dynamic.
Gotcha. Now, how have the players responded to the transition so far? Obviously, you said it's your 3rd day, but what have you come into, and what do you need to do before you go out on the road for 2 games?
Yeah, my function as the head coach is to manage the football operation team, the team itself. That's everything from coaches, players, support, things like that. So that kind of takes care of itself, the football side of it. The more personal side of it is just getting to know the players by name, getting to know, are they a quiet guy? Are they a verbal guy? Are they a happy kid, happy-go-lucky? Are they more serious? It's just a matter of just getting to know people, right? So the way I bridge that is I just concentrate on the football side of it because we've only had 3 days. And they've got to play a football game on Saturday in Tucson, and we're leaving tomorrow for that game. So I've only had 3 practices with this team. Now, that being said, I put my bent on the defense. I'm also the defense coordinator. So I've made quite a few changes to the defense. I hope they're upgrades. We'll see how that goes. Again, I can implement this stuff. They got to want to play this stuff. And by every indication, they bought in. So I'm confident we're going to have a really good performance in Tucson.
Now, as I mentioned, and you just mentioned, you're heading out west for 2 games. You're in Tucson against the Sugar Skulls, and then Northern Arizona after that for back-to-back road games. How do you mentally and physically prepare a team for 2 games kind of out there without, I'm assuming, not coming back between the 2?
No, we're not. So, the first thing is I had the conversation with the guys because over my years in coaching and playing, I've played out west, and it's hydration and sleep and how you dissipate, how you get yourself ready to prepare. That started early this week. It's, in the high 90s there every day, low 70s at night. We're going to get out there, and the first function is, and not looking past anybody, is Tucson. That's our challenge. Tucson played a really good football game last week, and they beat Arizona, who was undefeated at the time, and went in there, and Arizona went to Tucson, and they got upset. So right now, Tucson's running pretty hard. They've got a really good quarterback in Jorge Reina, who was with me in San Antonio for a minute, and he's an exceptional quarterback. So between Billy Back as their head coach, their quarterback, their offense, we have to go in there and be really well prepared. So we're going to fly out a day early. We're actually flying out Thursday to play on Saturday, where normally you'd fly out on Friday. And the reason we're doing that is so we can climatize the kids, get them used to the time change, give them the extra 24 hours. So thank God we have ownership that's willing to do that. And then we're going to go ahead and play really, really hard on Saturday. We're going to stay in our same hotel, our same everything until the following Wednesday. Practice, do everything we would normally do out in Tucson, and then Friday we'll bus to Phoenix to go ahead and play Northern Arizona, and it's only a couple-hour bus ride, and we'll go get ready to play them on Saturday, catching the red eye home, and then we have a bye week. So this is a very important little road trip for us. It's a business trip. Make no mistake about that.
Who are the leaders and stuff on this roster that you've leaned on during this transition? Any coaches or any players have stepped up?
Well, I mean, the coaching staff, for the most part, has been fantastic. I mean, what could have been adversarial turned out to be great. And I have a relationship already with Mark Stout. So having Mark on staff is a huge help for me. As the players go, I don't really figure out who the leaders are until game day. I treat everyone the same. I treat leaders, I treat followers, I treat everybody the same. And then you find out pretty quickly who your leaders are on game day, right? And how, when the bullets are flying, that's when you define a leader. I don't think you can define a leader at practice. I think you got to define a leader in a hostile environment and great. So my approach to the players right now is I've treated and leaned on all of them as opposed to a handful.
Now, what were the expectations given to you by the owners when you came in and were hired as the head coach?
Well, anywhere I go, my rep is win a championship, right? So my thing is I want to go in and I want to be competitive every week. Um, for the first time since I've been around the IFL, the East is probably just as strong as the West is. And so we have to be competitive in every game and be in every game. That's my goal. Be in every game. This is pro football. It's very hard to win a football game in professional football. I know a lot of fans think, oh, well, it's not that hard. Let me tell you what, they're getting paid too, right? So, my expectation, as I always say it, and I'll continue to say it, and it's not based on me, it's based on my staff and on my players, is we don't expect to lose again this year. And so I tell the owner the same thing. I don't expect to lose. Now, will we? I don't know. But I don't expect it. I truly believe with this roster and our schemes that there's nobody that can beat us.
So you've coached in this league before. How have you seen the IFL kind of evolve since you've been coaching in this league?
Well, I'll be perfectly frank. When I was in the NAL in 21 and 22, and I'd won back-to-back championships in Albany, I thought we could have beat anybody in the IFL. Okay. And then there was a dramatic shift in talent after 22. And I'll tell you what, the IFL has the best indoor football players, the best coaches. It's never going to be perfect at this level. Okay, let's be real. Okay, it's never going to be perfect. But as far as all of indoor football, and you can include every initial league in it, the IFL is by far, it's not even close. Who's got their stuff together and what they're doing and how they're trying to develop. The IFL network, we got a little pushback from some fans, but where are you going to be able to watch? I forget what the number is. It's some ridiculous number of games per year for, under $30. Mm-hmm. And it's going to keep getting better. And we're going to add more teams this year. We're going to, next year for next season, we're probably going to add 3 or 4 more new teams. So it's going to continue to grow. And I think we're capping out at 24 teams is our goal. And we should be fairly close to that over the next 24 months.
What's your approach to kind of managing in-game adjustments? Now, this is obviously a much more faster-paced game. How do you kind of make those changes when it's kind of constantly moving like that?
Slow the game down. You can't slow a watch down, but good football players can slow the game down. Mm-hmm. And it really can. And when I mean slow the game down, I don't mean don't play fast. I'm just saying we have a mantra that I brought with me here, and I'm teaching these guys. It's kind of like walking into a room of racehorses. I've got 21 secretariats, and there's times when I gotta ask some of them to play like just big rugged old animals, and then sometimes it's time to run around like a deer. You can slow the game down by reading the game. And I think a lot of times at this level, you get guys that just want to run and hit the quarterback and don't worry about their assignment versus I'm more of a gap integrity defense. I'm more of someone who likes his linebackers to read the play before reacting to the play. We're heavy in film work. We're heavy in preparation. So we should know what they're going to do. And if they throw something new at us, this ain't my first rodeo. We know how to make adjustments on the fly.
How do you foster a buy-in from players that maybe since you're joining mid-season, that may either join mid-season or, like I said, in your case, you join? How do you get buy-in from all those players that maybe are used to a different system?
Well, I just tell them, like this week, I said, just give me till Saturday. Do it my way till Saturday. And I'm smart enough to know, I've been doing this long enough to know that if we have to revert back to some other things that they're more comfortable with. One of the things I do at meetings that a lot of coaches don't do is before I start, let's say, a defensive meeting, I give them the first 5 minutes and I say, if you got something that you either have a problem with or you want to innovate, I call it innovation, players innovation. Get on the board in front of all of us, show us why you want to do it this way and why it makes sense against our next opponent. And I give them that option to express themselves as players because at the end of the day, it's a player's game. And so for the most part this week, I think we've had one individual go up on the board and show me something. I said, yeah, we're doing that. We just call it this now. And we cleared it up right away. So I think that's where the buy-in comes from, knowing that my philosophy has always been sound football. Like I said, read, react, execute. And then the second part of it is always have a plan before the ball is snapped. And the third part of it is you play to the whistle because a lot of mistakes get overlooked at full speed.
I got a couple more for you and then we can let you go. What is your approach to developing like young talent versus leaning on veterans kind of in this fast-paced, crucial moments of fast-paced football?
Well, first of all, it's not my job to develop players. These are pro athletes. They should be developed by the time they get to me. What I have to do is just instill in them the rules of indoor football first and foremost. And then once they understand the general dynamics of indoor football, I let them be pro football players. I'm the guy that when you ask what time it is, I'm going to tell you it's 2:00. I'm not going to tell you how to build a watch. So I treat them like pros. And I tell them that. I'll give you a good example. Coaches will come in and say, these are the rules, blah, 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 blah. They give you 100 rules. I have one team rule, be on time for everything. Everything else is an expectation. So when you open a door for a stranger, that's an expectation. When you say yes or no, sir, thank you, you're welcome, eye contact, body language, knowing how to take care of your body before a game, what you should do and shouldn't do in your sleep, how much you should get, how you should eat. That's all. I treat them like NFL pro football players. I do. I just say, do your thing and be smart enough to know that because those players who don't do it expose themselves quickly. The players that buy in start doing it, and the players that have already done it their whole career are encouraging the young ones to do it. I call it the 30,000 foot rule. Anything that, a player doesn't take his hat off during prayer, that's a 5,000 foot rule. I expect a team leader to point it out to him. A 10,000 foot rule might be a guy got a little loud in the lobby. Well, that's what I have assistant coaches for. A 20,000 foot rule might be that a guy was a little late for a meeting. He came in 2-3 minutes late. I expect the coordinators to handle that, fine accordingly, and do what they need to do. Anything over 30,000 feet is what I handle. Then you have two options, fix it or leave. So it's again, that's an NFL style. And that's what I'm accustomed to. That's what I want to continue on here. And again, I don't, I have a saying, love your coaches like your players until your players give you a reason to love them. You don't come in on day one and say, oh, I love you, man. You're the best. And you don't know me. I want to get to know each and every one of these young men. And I want them to get to know me and feel comfortable with coming to me.
Is there anything that you're looking forward to in the community, Lowell and Boston and stuff like that? Anything that you haven't experienced yet?
Seafood. Good Lord. You know what? That's the thing is that my first thing my wife asked me, I didn't get in here until very late Saturday, this last Saturday. I drove from Michigan to here. And Sunday, it was more or less just get enough clothes out of the suitcase to get to a meeting and have meetings and do everything. And I'm door dashing, everything from pizza to hamburgers right now. And I haven't spoiled myself with a good meal. And then all of a sudden now we're getting on a plane going to Tucson. So I can tell you this, when we have our bye week, I'm going to eat seafood for a week and a half before when we get back. I think that, and just in general, my family loves the history of the Boston area. And we're looking forward. We're already making plans for the my wife and my grandkids and kids are going to come out. I have 6 kids. I have 3 grandchildren right now, more on the way. And we're looking forward to just being out and about in the community, and anything I can do to help the people of Lowell really appreciate how exceptional it is for a town of this size to have its own professional football team, and they can come out and enjoy it. Hey, I'm a Patriots fan too. I'm a former Detroit Lion, but I'm a Patriots fan, and they're my number 2 team. And I know you're going to go spend $300 on tickets, and you're going to spend another 100 on parking, and then you're going to spend another 200 on food, and you're going to go and do your thing. You can come here. I think our lowest ticket price is $12, and you're going to see some great football. And heck, half of my team played in the NFL, so or had a cup of coffee in the NFL. So you're seeing unbelievable talent, and you're seeing it for a fraction of the cost. I mean, a family of 4 could come here for $100 and have an absolutely fantastic time.
Yep, and I just want to say, for you, welcome to the area, welcome to Massachusetts. And I've been watching the Mass Pirates for a while now, and they're out in Worcester. Obviously, has had success, and I expect it to continue with you. And then hopefully, one of these days, I'm going to be there in person, so that way we can do kind of a face-to-face with a bunch of you. But I absolutely thank you for your time. I know you said you had a quick one for us today, so again, I appreciate you, and good luck for the rest of the year.
Thank you. Yeah, we have a defensive meeting going, but I wanted to say not only thank you for having me, and thank you for the community been so welcoming thus far, and I want to bring you a winner, and I hope you'll support it.
Well, we've seen in your past you certainly know how to win the big game, so we hope that you bring one here back to the Pirates. And obviously, they've never had a losing season, so it's exciting to kind of be a part of that. And again, I thank you very much for your time and everything else like that, Coach.
Well, thank you very much.
All right, have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Very special thanks to Coach Menas for his time today. As mentioned, the Massachusetts Pirates are out in Arizona for 2 away games, and then they are back home Thursday, May 29th against the Jacksonville Sharks, which they've already split the season series so far 1-1. You can still get tickets for that game at www.masspiratesfootball.com. Again, that's masspiratesfootball.com. And I'll take a few seconds to shamelessly post this podcast. Is on TikTok, is on X, is on Instagram, working hopefully on a Facebook page, but it has all those socials now, and it's loftsidebanter@gmail.com. Again, it's BANTR @gmail.com, and then loftsidebanter.com. And now we have a segment where I got Sir Daniel and Chad on, and we had a kind of an itinerary, but we kind of get off the rails a little bit. But I just thought it was an entertaining kind of back and forth between everybody. So please enjoy the off the rails with Dan, Chad, and myself. All right, and kind of an impromptu kind of set to this episode. I've welcomed back Sir Daniel and Chad to the conversation. It's not a coffee conversation because it's currently 7 o'clock at night, but we're here
cocktail conversation.
What is it? A vodka conversation? You got
It's
a beer?
a cocktail conversation.
I got water in this big mug that nobody can see. So
Samuel Adams.
We're gonna get sponsorship. I can already tell.
So pay for that.
Yeah, they have to pay for this this spot. As you can see, we get off the rails quite quickly as we go along here, but we have a few topics we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about some sports what ifs, and if these situations had been reversed, would they change anything? I listed a couple here. If you two have some, we can kind of go into those as well. But we'll start off with, since we're in the Massachusetts area, we'll talk about the Red Sox a little bit. So the Red Sox, what if they hadn't come back in 2004 to beat the Yankees down 3-0? Now, we're fortunate enough to have a Yankees fan here in this chat. And, do we think it would have changed anything? Do we think the Red Sox would still be waiting for a title? Do we think anything else like that? Now, Chad, I assume the only thing that you were disappointed in is at the end of the day that you had to pay me money because the Red Sox won.
Yeah. Anyway. So here's the thing, everyone listening. Boston fans have arguably the worst and best fans in the nation. Okay?
All right.
To listen to Boston people gloat, you're up 3-0, 3-1, 3-2, 3-3. The ball breaking that went on over those days, and this is we didn't have cell phones back then. They'd call my
face to face.
my home phone. Fuck you, man! I want my money.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
For sure. Yeah.
I
remember those days. No, after one game. All right, so Yankees are up 3-0. After one game, like again, this is like just like greater Boston, like the New England area. After one game, you could have the Yankees could have beat the Red Sox 36 times straight. The one time that the Red Sox beat the Yankees, we don't care for some reason. Eat that, would you? Oh, all those championships, those are in the past now, huh?
Yeah. I have a alternate to this question.
To answer your question,
what's the alternate?
well, I was just gonna say before that, yeah, like I believe in these things. If that is not one, it's the same thing as the year before with Grady Little. It's just Terry Francona. Oh, well, this is just another guy that we're filling in there. There's no confidence to invest in the team. These are the things, and as we go through these, because I know some of the ones that you've listed here, these are like franchise city altering things that happen sometimes.
Yeah.
And the things that happen afterwards just would not happen afterwards.
Yeah, I don't think the Red Sox, they obviously don't win that year. I don't think that they're back in the same situation the next year.
Yeah, right.
I don't think they're spending the money.
They probably don't hit the 07 one.
Right.
Yeah.
My turnaround
that's the whole
is
thing.
okay. What if they don't win the World Series that year?
So what if they had beaten the Yankees and then didn't win the World Series?
They got swept. Boston fans are that. I'm not going to say it. They're that type of people that it wouldn't have mattered to them. We beat the Yankees, though, right?
No,
right?
Yeah, Chad. You're so right, because when I think back to the 2004 the win, I don't go, oh yeah, that's right, they beat the Cardinals that year. I forget that they even played the Cardinals that year.
Did you guys know there was a World Series that year?
It's the same thing with the Miracle on Ice. When the U.S. beat the Russians,
right.
nobody even remembers that wasn't the gold medal game. Nobody cares.
Right. Yep.
So it's the same situation. So yeah, I mean, if they go and they lose the World Series, maybe you're right. Maybe it's still like, wow, we got past the Yankees now. Whatever the Boston people sound like to you.
That's not what they sound like.
So,
I can promise you that.
So kind of a spin-off of that, I have, what if Grady Little had taken out Pedro and they had won in 2003? Do they win the World Series in 2003 and then we're not even worried about 2004?
Yeah, they win it. I'm saying it. Yeah, they win it in 2003, and Grady Little is still the manager in 2004. You don't get Francona.
Yeah.
And you don't get Schilling in 04.
Uh-huh.
So it alters things, but I think the same result ends up happening because you had the ownership group in place already for 03.
Yeah.
So they would have made the same decisions had they won 03 or 04. I believe that. But not winning, they would have made different decisions.
Yeah, I agree with Grady Little still being there. I don't think they go out and invest in Schilling. I think you're right. I think it changes that aspect of it. Now, We're talking about a year earlier than, having to go through the down 03 and the story and everything else like that. And so, I mean, yeah, I think that changes a lot of the projections of where the team goes. And obviously we see the team now and the kind of lack of investment, I guess, from the ownership group. So is that because they've won all these titles already that they've decided, we don't have to spend as much money as we normally would?
I think so. I mean, To be honest with you, and as a sports fan, you don't want to hear this, but if I'm running my business, I'm doing the same thing. Yeah, you guys, I just got you, what, 4?
Yeah,
4 World Series in a 20-year span. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
But we're gonna pull.
Be good for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if
I mean,
they
let's face it, Chad, you're a Yankees fan. I know you don't follow like the front office or anything, but the Yankees now aren't like when George Steinbrenner was like directly involved in owning the team. They aren't like, we're beating your face in no matter what.
So my argument back during that like Alfonso Soriano era, Jason Giambi era was everyone from Boston was like, oh, the Yankees just fucking bought it. They paid for it. Okay, well, they have the highest payroll in the league. All right, cool. So by your math, the Red Sox would have the second highest amount of World Series of all time.
Yes,
because they had the highest second payroll of the time. So you're just arguing fucking semantics.
Right.
You're a second-class team.
The reason why the Red Sox have 4 World Series, one of them I'll say wasn't like related. The reason why they had 4 like in the last 20 years is because they were one of the top 2 spending teams. Right. I've never like subscribed to that, but yeah, pay the money. The Celtics won a championship last year by paying billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the thing I think for me, when I looked at the Yankees and the Red Sox, and yes, you're right, they were 1-2 in payrolls throughout those years, is the Yankees would go get a Jason Giambi, which is an established all-star. They would go get, players to fill in. Now, we completely gloss over the fact that half of these players, Derek Jeter was a Yankees like minor leaguer. They drafted him, developed him, all that stuff. Andy Pennant, all those different people, Mariano Rivera, whatever.
Yep.
When the Red Sox were doing it, like they had to get Kevin Millar. Yes, they had to get like Kevin Millar, who was not an established all-star. They got David Ortiz, who was nobody at that time.
Yeah, right.
And
Ortiz was out of nowhere.
So that was the difference to me. Now, again, at the end of the day, it's meaningless because, again, you forget the fact the Yankees got, had Derek Jeter or Jorge Posada, I should say, people like that. So it just looked like that they would go out and get the best players and go, yeah, we'll give them whatever they want. Nobody else can compete with us anyway.
Yeah, but it's arguing for the sake of it. You want to say you earned it, you grew it, you built it, we bought it. At the end of the day, a W is a W. I don't give a fuck how you got there.
Yeah, as I've got no
look at the
this is what it is.
For the Red Sox. So, who are your top pitchers in 04? Pedro Martinez. Red Sox didn't draft him.
Right.
Kurt Schilling. Red Sox didn't draft him. Your fielders, like you said, Kevin Millar, David Ortiz, Manny Ramirez. They outbid the Yankees, I think, when they got Ramirez, which was a shocking thing.
Yeah.
So the Red Sox team wasn't built from the ground up.
Even the rest of it, Derek Lowe was, but you traded for him when he was a minor leaguer. Jason Varitek, you traded for him when he was a minor leaguer.
Fine, that kind of counts.
Right. We're splitting kind of the different things like that, but bouncing around a little bit. I want to get into what if Michael Jordan hadn't retired to play baseball? Do we have the conversations that we do with LeBron versus Jordan? Do we have any of this stuff? Does Jordan win how many more titles?
Are you saying he goes 7, 8 rings? Is that what you're suggesting? Because I think the Bulls would have dismantled. They probably would have. I don't think they would have gone for 7. Not 90, not that year, not the following year, not 99.
You don't think that they win in that time?
Oh, shoot, my time frame's off. It was, 91, 92, 93? He retired, came back, and then 96, 97, 98?
I think so. Dan, you have something while I look this up.
I think he won two after he came back, if I'm not mistaken.
3. He won 3.
Oh, it was 3. Yeah, that's right, because it was 3B. Are we going to ignore the fact of why he, like, the real reason of why he, quote-unquote, retired? Like, we're not taking that into account, right?
I mean, his dad got married.
Gambling on basketball.
Yeah, they forced him to retire.
That's what you think? Yeah. I mean, so that's the conspiracy theory. Yeah.
Got to retire for a few years. Right.
Yeah, the 6 championships were 91, 92, 93. No 94, no 95, 96, 97, 98.
No, so how many? All right, let's just put. So how many do you think he wins in a row?
Or do you think he wins in that time frame? He's in his prime still.
Yeah, he would have kept. Yeah, he would have kept winning. Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, I remember watching it and being like, toward the end, it was kind of like the Patriots thing, where like I want to say it was the year the Suns played them, and I'm like, I was rooting for the Suns because at that point I'm like, all right, like I'm sick of seeing this and something else. Like, yeah, like they're in the finals the next those 2 years, and I would never bet against Michael Jordan in the 90s. Never. Like, you could send me in a time machine, give me and say this actually happened, and like they didn't win, I'd be like, you're a liar, and I would still bet on.
I think that they win at least another one in between that
You
time
just
frame.
said I don't believe science. That's what you just said.
Telling you, I don't care. Michael Jordan didn't lose ever.
Nope. Hey Biff, you're wrong. I don't care what that almanac says.
That's what I was.
You're wrong.
I was thinking of the magazine and Back to the Future 2, where he's like, "We got all the answers here now."
Yeah. Where's that book?
Do you?
While we're on,
go ahead.
Go ahead, Andy.
No, I'm gonna switch to the next one. So you go.
While we're on the topic, the only thing that came to my mind when it came to Michael Jordan was, what if Michael Jordan doesn't hit the shot for North Carolina?
I still think he goes upper echelon of the NBA draft.
Yep.
My kind of off of that would be, what if the Trailblazers took him instead of Sam Bowie? That would be my, does Portland change as far as their fortunes?
Does he go to a different team? Yeah.
Yeah, I still think he's probably still a top 5 pick. If he misses, I mean, obviously they lose the NCAA championship, and maybe he isn't considered as clutch as what people think he is. I think that's a good point.
It's funny. I was actually, because they have it on recently, the thing about the '86 Celtics, and like I was too young. I mean, I was alive, but I was too young to like remember it. But like they played the Bulls in the second round, either the second or third round, and Jordan
the Celtics won
single-handedly. Yeah, the Celtics won, but Larry Bird was like, "Oh my God, this guy's no joke," and that was almost 1, 2, 3, 4. That was like 5 years before the Bulls won their first championship.
Yeah.
So they knew then how good this guy was.
Shifting gears to a hockey one, what if Wayne Gretzky wasn't traded from Edmonton to the LA Kings? Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Sir Daniel. After Gretzky left Edmonton, he never won another cup, right?
And he won one in LA.
He did win one in LA? I thought he went and lost.
Yeah. Oh man, I think he won one in LA.
Let's see. I think
everybody type in their computers.
I'm gonna be useless to you here. I don't even like.
No, I know that's.
I don't even know what year this happened.
Oh no, it was 88. See, I didn't even know the year. It was 88. Maybe he did. Yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe I'm just an idiot. That's fine.
Yeah, fair. When and the Oilers won. Yeah, so you had Andy, to answer your question, you had put that one on the list, and I was like, I looked at it and I'm like, I thought about it 2 ways, right? If he got traded from Edmonton to X team, like that wasn't the LA Kings, would it have been different for the new team that he was on?
Right.
Or had he did, would they have won like more than 10? I don't think, it's weird to say this, I don't think in hockey it works like that. So I think that those teams won what they probably were going to win, with or without him.
Okay.
Is it because hockey is more of a team sport than an individual sport?
I mean, that team, that
the
Edmonton,
is such a crapshoot in hockey. That's the biggest thing. In basketball, the playoffs, the better team 9 times out of 10 is going to win. In baseball, generally, the better team 9 times out of 10 is going to win. In like football and hockey are probably either all you have to do is get into the playoffs, and you're going to have a grind all the way through, whether you're the best team ever assembled or not. Like, that's just how I feel.
Yeah,
about
hockey, if you get a hot goaltender, you can beat anybody. And we saw it a few years ago with when the Bruins went to the Stanley Cup Finals and lost to the Blues, was all the top seeds were losing. And I had said, probably to you, Dan, at one point, I'm like, the Bruins have an open road to this. They just have to not screw it up, and of course they did.
Yeah.
But that Edmonton team was stacked with talent. And the reason why I came up with the question, or at least looked at it, is because that team was just, they had Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer, and then Gretzky being Gretzky and stuff like that. Those are kind of the ones.
I mean, they won again afterward, right? So maybe they win one more. Maybe Edmonton wins one more if he's still on the team. But eventually that moves. It's kind of like football. I believe like the early 90s was the start of like, the free agency and the cap and like stuff like that. If I'm not mistaken, like free agency was like starting at that point. So, I realized Gretzky was traded, but like those teams like disintegrate. You can't hold these teams together anymore.
Did you just poke yourself in the eye? I don't have health insurance for this show yet.
So bad. Oh, it hurts so bad. I tried to mute myself. Like I could have kept going.
No, I don't think you did it purposely. Dan, have you ever poked yourself in the eye when you sleep?
Oh God. Yeah, and you can't even talk shit.
I punch myself in the eye when I sleep, like a knuckle, like that.
I've done it.
What?
I've asked Chad this probably like a month ago.
Like poke with the pointy end of your finger.
Yeah, I on more than one occasion have poked myself in the eye while sleeping. Don't know. It's because I sleep with my hand,
knowing that it's you.
Yes, yeah. It's either that or I'm being beaten while I'm sleeping, but which is a possibility.
Well,
but.
that happens also. Yeah.
All right. So one of the things I wanted to kind of go over and see how interested this was, and you guys can shoot this down right now, which would make for terrible podcast. But which one of us would be the best at the NFL Combine events? And I'm talking 5 events: the 40-yard dash, the vertical jump, the broad jump, a 3-cone drill, and the shuttle run. Which one of us do you think would do the best in all those?
I'm going to go with the ones that I feel like might have a chance of winning. And I'm saying the 40-yard dash because we did it.
Yeah.
And I think like I could do that.
Yeah, and I ripped
vertical jump.
The
Dan, I think you win the vertical jump, Dan.
No. You would think that because of my physique. I cannot jump. Like I have like a 2-inch vertical.
All right.
Well,
I don't like 300-pound dudes are gonna like jump higher than me.
I mean, I watch a lot. The combine, they do it all the time, and yeah, I honestly think we should give it the old college try and see which one of us out of shape old men could do better.
No, we can do that. We can do that this summer.
All right, 40-yard
the
vertical drill. Jump. What's the broad jump?
You stand in place and you just jump forward as far as you can.
Jump it forward as far as you can.
Not up.
Not up. Forward, as far forward as you can go.
Yeah, you're trying to cover.
And a 3-cone drill is what?
You're basically you have to.
That's the one.
Run a drill.
Yeah, it's a drill. You're running around 3 cones. And they're timing you for all this different stuff. It's basically your change of direction.
Can I
speed.
ask a question on the 3-cone?
And I don't know what a shuttle run is.
Are Andy and I are allowed to like wrap our knees so tight that they can't blow out? Because on the 3-cone drill, I'm losing all of my ligaments.
It'll make for great content on video of one of us just lying on the ground. Yeah.
I don't think it's fair. I think you should add you should add bench press.
You want me to add the bench press too? Okay, well I'm in last place for that, so I'm gonna go train.
I need some sort of leverage.
Chad, you're not slow. Like the only one.
Certainly not quick there, buddy.
Did
you say? I'm not the shuttle run. the shuttle run, which is the one that's the one where you run like to a line back to next line back type of
Yeah,
thing.
it's another change of direction speed.
I just
test.
don't the turning like in a straight line. I'm good, but like the change of direction thing, like you guys, like I'm like a cartoon character, like in slow motion changing direction. For those who don't have video, which is everybody listening to this, Chad just looked in the camera to see if his eyeball was bleeding.
It hurts really bad.
Has anybody been following the Bill Belichick and Jordan Ness?
Oh,
little girlfriend?
Yeah, his very young
Jordan.
girlfriend. I said I wouldn't talk about this, but
All right,
it's a mess.
So,
Why?
no,
What's the mess about?
so Andy, I know. No, Andy, I know you are all up on pretty much everything. I'm sure I am. Chad, do you know anything about what's going on with this? Yeah, actually,
Bill Belichick's dating a
Yeah,
young
so-
college-aged girl, and he's doing
Yep.
stuff outside of his Patriots coach era. He's just being very free-spirited.
Sure, you can say free spirited if you'd like. So it's
Good.
I'm just telling you
No,
what I
no,
know.
The-
that's great.
the
So now
interview-
we're going to inform him. We're
Yeah.
going to inform him on the shit show.
So there was an interview that came out. There was an interview that came out where Bill was being asked by 60 Minutes or something. I forget what it was. I believe it was 60 Minutes. Like
It was basically the morning version. It was like the Today Show or something. It was
yeah,
the
yeah,
morning version of like 60 Minutes or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, and he was asked some questions like, "Hey, how do you deal with all the people wanting to know why you're dating somebody so much younger?" And he's like, "Oh, why have I ever cared what people think?" Which is true. He has never have. And then the follow-up question, which is natural, is, "So where did you guys meet?" And she, from off camera, is yelling, "We're not going to talk about that." And this is a gentleman that has, for years, been able to shut down reporters and not answer a question. And yet he seems like he's being babied by her. And today, there was a story released that North Carolina was not going to allow her to be part of football practices anymore because she's been part of football
You
practices.
heard it. All right.
And then the university had to put out a statement saying, "Oh no, she's welcome. She's welcome to all of our football practice." Like, it's just a mess of just media stuff. And again, I'm a guy that Bill Belichick is the savior of this franchise. He and Tom Brady.
But he's always kept his name out of the mud.
Right. It's taking away from his legacy, in my opinion. Just the way the things are, not the dating part of it. I could care less about that.
He has made her in charge of his basically his like media, like the what do you call it? Public relations.
Digital
So she's
footprint.
supposedly in charge of public relations. No. Well, digital footprint doesn't mean that like in the middle of North Carolina practicing that you run the field to adjust his earpiece in your wrestling outfit. Did you see this, Andy?
No.
No.
What is it?
Oh yeah. So like in the middle of practice, she goes running from like the end zone in like God knows
leotard?
what.
Could she run a 40-yard
It
dash
looked
faster than me?
She ran. She might have been in heels. I don't know. I can't remember. But basically, like something like a wrestler would wear, like a cape
Yeah.
thing. Like, oh man, like the frayed
yeah.
like things coming out.
Yeah.
Randy Savage would be like running out like, "Oh yeah, Bill." So like she goes out on the field and is like fiddling with them. There's another coach there that's like literally having a conversation about like what the linebacker is doing, and she like just stops him, and the guy like starts looking like in the air. This is the guy next to her, twiddling his thumbs. Then he's looking at his phone, like video from. And the guy's just like, "I can't believe I'm dealing with this. I can't believe I'm dealing with this." Yeah, it's just one thing after another. She's like, it's like a Stepford Wives.
Do you remember the Dunkin' commercial that came out for the Super Bowl with was it Matt Damon and Ben Affleck and then Bill Belichick and then
the dunking suits?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a story out that she forced her way into that commercial, and like the producer and director were like, "We've never seen anything like it." Like she threw like a tantrum to get on this commercial, and we ended up having to pay her and put her in this commercial. And again, it's
Belichick was supposed to be on it, and she was like, "No, I'm in it too."
Yeah. It's just things that are making him, like, in his advanced years, making him just his legacy is going to be looked at differently because of. And again, the dating part of it is irrelevant to me. I don't care the age difference, whatever. But like
look, it happens. It happens. You know, it happens to the best of us.
It does. So just one more thing, and it's not about Jordan, but like, does everybody realize now that he's not like a smart, like genius guy, has everything figured out, and literally he just happens to be a genius in a very specific, specialized thing, which is coaching football.
Yeah.
Like,
no one is good at everything. No one is good at everything.
No, but he's horrible in everything else, which is amazing. It would be like Wayne Gretzky, like not knowing how to like eat spaghetti because he was really good at hockey. You know what I mean? It's just weird.
Yeah.
The poor analogy.
So
I know, that was horrible.
So the Boston Bruins don't get the first pick or the second or in the top 5. They get 7. And I know we did our episode of like, hey, the things need to go right for them to be able to build this. It's not a good start. It's not a good start that they got the 7th pick.
Hey, it's not double digits.
So
yeah.
So the 7th pick was the worst that they could get in the lottery.
It's worse than 8.
They only had the ability to drop to 7.
No, they can't. They couldn't get 8. You get 1 through 7.
I see.
And they got 7.
They-
So my thing about that, Andy, is, and I think we talked about it too, is the difference between like the 5th and the 7th in the NHL is a crapshoot. Like, anyway, it's not like football where there's like usually there's like one generational talent every 5 years in the NHL, and everybody else is just kind of in the thing. I don't think that it affects them much. I think it's hilarious though. Like,
yeah, it's one of those things that it's gonna make the front office look worse because it's just one of those things that, hey, we could only get as low as 7th, and by the way, we got 7th.
Right. They had no control over it, but still, we're gonna blame them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously,
the Celtics game was on, so I was watching that, and Dave, my brother, had it on his phone, the NHL draft, and he's like doing a live thing of the lottery coming up.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, they did it all weird, and it was I don't know if anybody saw it, but it was like cringe. They should never do this again. But they were drawing the balls one at a time, and like it would like eliminate some teams, and it was the most like low budget thing. And the NHL is great at doing low budget things. It was like so bad, and they're like pulling the balls out, and I'm just like looking. I'm like, they're gonna get the 7th pick. They're gonna get the 7th pick, and boom, there it is.
Just filmed at a senior center's bingo hall.
Yeah, they just borrow the equipment because they don't want to pay for their own.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys have been watching any of the NBA playoffs, but I am.
No, but
about them Celtics.
Well, that's part of 2 parts of this conversation. I don't think I've seen more 20-point leads blown in the NBA, except for when it started to be this 3-point or nothing kind of game plan. And I ranted on it on the last episode I did. I cannot stand that teams take their foot off the gas up by 20 points. Yep. I'm sick of the you can't blow people out, you can't do this, you can't do that.
You're so right, and you're absolutely right on that, because before this year, no team in an entire playoffs had given up 2 20-point leads.
Yeah, and of course it's the Celtics that have done it now.
Well, it's the Celtics, and obviously other teams are doing it now, like it's happening. But and you're right to like blow up about this. What it does, it eliminates coaching from it at all. It just says, well, the statistic, and this is the analytics thing, and this is how we arrived here. The statistics say that in the long term, just raining threes, no matter what, no matter the circumstance of the game, no matter what, like you're going to score more points and you're going to win. So when you're up 20, you still rain threes.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, well, then why have a coach? Why don't you just throw the balls out and let the players like play?
Yeah. No, this is where Missoula has.
This is most.
This is where Missoula is going to struggle, and he's being outcoached by people because his game plan is shoot threes, shoot threes, shoot threes, shoot threes, and he doesn't know how to coach when they're losing a lead like that. I'll just keep doing what you're doing.
I've seen him in the right, and this stuff does work during the regular season. It really does. And playoffs are different, and we know that. And I've seen him adjust in the past. Game 2 may have been his worst coached game I've seen him coach. I'll say in the playoffs. I obviously have not watched every single regular season game.
Yeah.
Every decision he made once they were up 20 was wrong. And I'm not saying I would have done a better job. What I'm saying is everything that he did was the complete. It was wrong. Like it.
Wrong.
The result was wrong. Yes.
I
hopefully will.
Listen, Chad, you want to come and point the finger at the Celtics and how terrible they've played in the first 2 games of that. The Lakers looked terrible.
Hey,
now, I think they were a year away. I think.
Stay on track. You're on shot to one of my teams. All right, don't make it.
I still think the Lakers
like that. You back down.
I still think the Lakers were a year away with the team that they were building, but LeBron James is just, like the statements that LeBron was releasing or the Lakers were releasing after they were eliminated. Oh, if there was a game 6, I wouldn't have played. You're out. It doesn't matter if you would have played or not. So like the control of all that stuff still irritates me with him, but that's besides the point. I won't take shots at your team, even though they lost in the first round.
I am gonna say something though. Like with the LeBron thing, I did feel bad for him. I want the guy to like go out, not just petering out. And it's not him. Like he played fine.
You always want the greats to go out. You don't want Brett Favre to go out. You know, like
that's how
you just go out on top. Right. But you know, you peaked. Right. So
right. Michael Jordan,
maybe not. I don't fucking know, man. What else has he got up his sleeve?
No. But did Michael Jordan win championships in his last year? No, they were sucking ass on the Washington Wizards. Like, I mean, it's just how it goes. It sucks.
Yeah, time is undefeated. Oh, the Wizards never happened.
Ask anyone. Yeah. Ask anyone. They'll tell you he never played for the Wizards.
I can remember I was in a league of like those simulation games, like basketball simulations, and it was Michael Jordan was still in the game, and I had made a trade to get Michael Jordan on the Celtics, and he averaged like 8 points a game, and that was the end of it. And I was like, that was when I was like, you know what, this is probably dumb anyway. This is stupid. I'm a good GM.
That was the end for you.
Yeah, I was like, he's done. Even in a mythical world, he's done. Yeah, so
I mean, Tom Brady didn't win in his last year. Was he still great? Yeah, but like he petering out. Like his team was petering out at the end. Like it's just how it goes. Yeah. Like somebody like Ray Bork.
Yeah. So how do you write the story right? What, you go to Florida, you win, you retire the year you win, and that's it. That's how the story gets better.
I mean, it looks better.
Yeah,
it looks better on paper.
I don't know. Like I'm not like saying these guys that. But I love excellence. There's a lot of people that like, I don't like LeBron, blah, 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 blah. I like excellence. So I'll root against that sometimes if I think that they've won too much, but I love to see it. I want to see things done that have never been done. And just when those like top people are like retiring, it's like the mortality of life.
Yeah.
Like I don't want people to die, and your sports death has now happened. Like, you know.
Well, with all that said, I mean, it's like I said, Father Time is undefeated. No matter what happens, somebody's, they got to retire, they got to leave, they got to do all this different stuff. I like sports because there's always new people around the corner.
Or as Magic Johnson would say, Mother Nature is defeated the Celtics tonight.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't know why he said that, but he did.
Well, just like that, gentlemen, I thank you for your time. And just like Joe Manzula says, in 100 years, nobody's going to give a shit what we did anyway, so it doesn't matter. So thanks, everybody, for showing up.
Sure, guys.
Thanks, Joe.
for having
That's
us.
a great way of looking at life. All right, guys.
All right, have a good one.
Talk to you guys later. Bye.
Yep, and just like that, we get off the rails about all of our sports topics, but that's okay. So I want to thank everybody for joining us, listening to the interview with Coach Tom Menas. And no matter where you are, good morning, good evening, good night. I'll see you on the next one.